Hello, rat torture. Do you have additional puzzle? No. There sure don't seem to be a lot of animals around town. You're quite the animal lover, aren't you, Luke? Now come along. We don't have time to sit here and play around. We totally do. All we do is run around and solve scary puzzles all day. Oh, no. 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 Hi. I don't really hate these. Don't even want to look at it. Hello? Howdy? Dudes? Professor, there's something on the ground here. You're right. It appears to be a scrap of paper. Will you check it? Will you check if anything's written on it? Sure thing. Let's see here. The boss complimented my latest model today. He's a good guy, and he's given me a new sense of purpose. I'm sure this is my true calling. I want to perfect my skills so I can repay the man for his generosity. Sounds like a great deal. That sounds a great deal like a journal entry, doesn't it? Judging by how the writer uses the term, the boss, I imagine he was under the employ of the Baron. I've constructed models to fit every situation, just like the boss asked me to. I gotta smile when I see how interested he is in them. That's the end of the entry. Do you suppose this person person made some sort of models for a living? I'm gonna level with you guys. After hours of puzzles, I'm just like, who's Matthew? The story is so broken up by the puzzle gameplay, which is the point of the game, basically, as far as I'm aware. But like, I had a point where I'm like, what does my objective mean? Talk to Matthew? Who's Matthew? Which of these characters was Matthew again? I'm dealing with so much other stuff in the meantime that it's really hard to keep track of that that train of thought.
Yo, Professor, did you find what you were after? Never mind that, though. I got something more important to talk about. Namely, chocolate. Help me solve this puzzle. I'll tell you something that I bet you'll find very interesting.
Hello. You have a hankering for chocolate, so you buy a huge sheet of 30 chocolate squares. The sheet is 5 squares long by 6 squares wide. You can only break the chocolate at the lines that run between the squares, and you aren't allowed to stack multiple segments on top of each other. What? What does that part of the sentence mean? Keeping those rules in mind, what is the fewest number of times you'll need to break the chocolate in order to separate each of the 30 chocolate squares? What does that mean? What does that mean? Can't draw lines on it. This one requires some interpretation, I think, of what they mean. So am I not allowed? Am I not allowed? I assume you can't line them all up and snap them as a group once they're separated. So the first thing that comes to mind is try to separate them individual rows as fast as possible, and then just break all those rows up. But that would involve going all the way left to right across each of them. The most breaks you would have is if you do the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you do the 5 vertical breaks, then you'd have 6 rows of 5 each, but then snapping them all individually would be a lot. Like, not 30, because you don't do the last one. 24 breaks plus 5 is 29, which is too many. Probably. Probably. My idea is to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4 times 6 is 24, plus 5 is 29. So it's 29 in that method. Go to the next page. Nope. Oh, these are undo. I thought it was pages. Okay. You can't do that. You can't undo that much. Is it the bigliest one? Them all? Is this the is that deletes all? Okay, yeah, that's better. Okay, so let's do it's 2 breaks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. This is bad. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 12 plus 15 is 27, 29. Is it 29 again? I assume that every time you talk about breaking it, you're talking about breaking it all the way down in one continuous break, which is shortened by any existing breaks, which would cut it off. I find it interesting that I just arrived on 29 twice. Is it always 29? One, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 times 5 is 25, plus 4 is 29. Is it always 29? Or am I missing some of the logic of what they mean about how I'm supposed to break it? It seems like it's always 29.
Luke, here's my answer.
It's always 20. Okay. I don't think there's such thing as fewest. That's like the question was lying? If you follow the rules set out in the puzzle, then it doesn't really matter how you break up the chocolate. The number of segments you have increases by 1 each time you break a chunk off the sheet. To get 30 segments to be separated, you always have to snap 29 times. There is 0 efficiency trick. 69, huh? It was a trick. They tricked me. In that they lied, basically, kind of. Not really. It's technically still true that it's the least amount, but it implies that there's an optimization to make. And it's just wrong.
Now it all makes sense. I already forgot what this guy sounded like. Okay, now about the hot info I promised. If you want to experience the best dining in St Mystere, you got to check out Crouton's restaurant. Everything he makes is yummy. Y-U-M-M-Y. Who spells that out? It'd be weird. Don't even get me started on the stews.
You have to try it yourself. Okay. Does door work? No? Can't go around walking around in here. Gutom makes chow that's out of this world. I could eat this blaze every day and not get sick of it. Alright. Just really likes to eat. It's what interests him. I got a coin. Oh, a customer. Welcome, welcome. I have some great deals on sausage today, and my skirt steak will make any plate a fashion plate. Haha. Sorry to disappoint you, sir, but we didn't come here to shop. Aw, and here I was thinking I was going to reel in a big sale. You got a hungry look about you, you know. Well, if I can't interest you in any fine meat products, can I at least tempt you with a puzzle? What's up? Somebody ate the butcher's sausages. Here's what these four boys have to say. We're doing the lion game again, huh? A says B ate the sausages. B says D ate the sausages. C says and D says B is lying. So D says that B is lying. Only one of these rascals is telling the truth, and all the others are, needless to say, lying. Can you figure out who ate the sausages? Okay, so A can't be telling the truth because B says D ate them and D says B is lying. And those can't both be true. B says D ate them, and D says B is lying. So could C have eaten them? If we assume all three of the top three are lying and that D is telling the truth, this seems to check out. So who ate all the sausages? It was C, this little punk.
There we go.
He smiled at me. I like it when he smiles at me, it means I'm doing a good job. Anyway. Hey, you're pretty good at this. As a bonus for solving my puzzles, I'll throw in some gossip I heard. Word is that somebody lives in the dark, grimy tower. You'd have to be a duck to want to live in an old moldy wreck of a place. But it's cool, and maybe it's free rent, so it's like, you know, in this housing market. You sure I can interest you in a nice cut of veal? It's a veal deal! Ha 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 ha! A small animal was caged forever and then eaten. Oops. Am I out of puzzles? I might be out of puzzles. She's gone. She's baking bread and we can't go back there apparently. Still trying to find the missing crank. Our car does not have a new puzzle. I'm just gonna check real quick. Professor Layton Matthew. Oh, Matthew's the little servant dude. Okay. So he's in the castle. I thought he just came from the castle. So where was he? The mansion. Hello. Huh? Look, there's a hole in the boat there. Oh, Professor, that reminds me. Have you ever heard the one about the sinking ship? SOS. 13, wow. This one's been here for a while. 15 people are trapped aboard a ship that's going to sink in exactly 20 minutes. Their only chance for survival is the 5-person life raft stowed on their vessel. To make matters worse, the waters around the ship are teeming with man-eating sharks, so swimming to safety is out of the question. The round trip to the nearest island and back to the boat takes 9 minutes on the raft. How many people will live to see dry land? There's 15 people total. The round trip takes 9 minutes. It's gonna sink in 20 minutes. We're assuming a boarding time of nothing? So everybody lives, right? You leave now, drop off 5 people, come back, 9 minutes. Leave now, drop people off, come back, 9 minutes. So that's 18 minutes. It's 20 minutes. So you get the 5 people again at the end. They're just in transit at the end. They haven't arrived yet, but they do live because they're off the ship. So everybody. Just this once, Rose. Everybody lives.
That should do it.
What? By now you probably come to the realization that one person must stay in the raft in order to pilot it back to the... pick up more. Oh! It's a good point. It's a good point. It's a good point.
Yep. Well.
That's a good point. Yeah, so it's 4, 4, and 5 basically. Somebody has to bring the raft back. Yep, that does kind of give it away, I guess. Unless I'm somehow wrong again.
There we go.
I was gonna say that clue kind of explains the answer. Yep. Wow, great answer, Professor. I especially like the part where you were wrong. Haha, it took me 5 times as long to get that one. How many horrible traps does this thing have? Nope. All right, boat, keep your secrets. Back so soon, Professor. Matthew, I was wondering if you knew anything that could point us in the direction of the Golden Apple. Anything you know would be a great help. For example, did the Baron say anything before he passed away? I'm sorry to disappoint you, Professor, but the Master never said anything of the sort to me. I'd very much like to help you in your search, but my duties here prevent me from leaving the grounds. Only Ingrid was around to provide some assistance. I beg your pardon, sir. Ingrid? It's been years since we left, but Ingrid used to work as a servant in the mansion. She was Flora's nurse, and she often helped me with my work. Matthew! Yes, madam, I'll be right there. Please excuse me, sir, the lady calls. If you're curious about Ingrid, why not pay her a visit and talk to her yourself? Let's see, at this time of day, I'd imagine she's out walking around by the general store. Please do me a favor and tell her that Matthew sends his regards. Certainly. I'll be sure to pass on your message. Thank you for all your help, Matthew. Isn't Ingrid that sweet old lady we passed by before? Indeed. We also saw her in that picture of young Flora. Come, Luke. Let's go find the old girl. Let's go find the old girl. The different cadence of speech and whatnot. Off we go then. The general store is just outside the mansion, right? We'll be there in no time. Alright, back to it. Hello. have to make her float so high in the air to be out of the way of the dialogue.
Oh, goodness me. If it isn't Mr. Layabout, was it?
She's the villain. She's dissing us. The name's Layton, madam.
That's right, Mr. Layton. What can I do for you, sir?
Earlier, we were talking about with the butler at Reinhold Manor, and he mentioned you used to work there. We'd very much like to hear anything you might know about the Baron.
Heavens me! You want to hear about the Baron? I'm afraid the only stories I have are from when I worked at the manor, and that was ages ago.
That would be ideal, madam. Would you mind telling us one?
All right, well, I suppose I could tell you a bit about the Baron and his former wife.
The way Reinhold and his wife could carry on, they almost seemed to be like children. You'd never seen a man so in love as Master Reinhold was. When she passed away, Flora was all the Baron had to remember her by. So he raised that little girl with the love of a child, with all the love the child could want. The things he'd bring home for her, toys from all over the world, and teddy bears as big as yourself. He was in high spirits in those days. He really wanted to give her 2 parents worth of affection. So where has Flora gone? Your guess is as good as mine, sir. I have no clue where that girl went. She left the mansion well after I stopped working for the Reinholds. Some say Lady Dahlia put Flora on the street to keep the family riches to herself, but that's nonsense. After all, the Baron cared about Flora so much, I can't imagine that he'd allow something like that. You know, you just reminded me. The grave of the Baron's late wife is located in the manor garden. I wonder who takes care of it now. The Baron's former wife is buried in the garden. Thank you, madam. You've been extremely helpful. Luke, let's head back to the manor. I have a hunch that the grave might hold the clue we've been looking for. Gotta give this here puzzle another spin, yeah? Is that so? Oh, fuck. No. Not you. Never again, you. Was-a? Alright, find the grave at the manor. Look at him go! Oh, look, it's Matthew. Good day, Professor. Were you able to track down Ingrid? Yes, we did. In fact, we were just speaking with her. I mean no disrespect, but she said the grave of the Baron's late wife lies on these grounds. Do you have any knowledge of this? Lady Violet's grave, sir. I was just about to visit it myself. Would you mind if we came along to take a look? Not in the slightest. Right this way. She actually died when she choked on the apple. Here's the entrance, sirs. Please watch your step on the way in. This is Lady Violet's grave. Gosh, this place is really nice. It's not creepy at all. The late Baron, rest his soul, told me to keep this place in proper order, and I have tried to do so. This is a huge grave. How do all these plants grow underground? I guess there's kind of sunbeams. That still seems questionable. Here sleeps Violet, my one true love. The statue looks so much like Lady Dahlia, it's hard to believe it's someone else. Back when Flora was just a tiny little thing, Lady Violet used to take her to the park in town. Some of the flowers in the garden grew from the ones Flora planted here for her mother. Oh, I forgot to tell you about the Baron's journal. It should be on the desk in Madame's room. It's possible that it might contain some information that could aid in your search for the golden apple. My thanks, Matthew. I'll be sure to give it a once-over later. Now then, Luke, we'd best head back to Reinhold Manor. And let's do just that. Where's this journal at? A murder! Sorry, I'm just used to that happening every time I come here. Oh my god! This must be the journal that Matthew spoke of. I have to admit, he seems to know where everything in this manor is. There's something about reading someone else's journal that just doesn't seem proper to me. However, the investigation must continue, so... The craftsmanship of it is simply remarkable. It reminds me of my sweet Violet when she was alive. What do you suppose it refers to? The statue. Flora doesn't like the thing at all. I've seen her run away from it on multiple occasions. Recently, she spends more time playing by my dear Violet's grave than anywhere else. I'm sad to say I doubt Flora will ever take to it. I can't blame her, as I've changed its memory. I felt terrible forcing that change on Flora, but I just couldn't bear to see it. I just couldn't bear to see it like that anymore. Violet, there can never be another you. You were my first, my last, and my only. Changed its memory. I'm not sure what the Baron means, but this is clearly vital information here. I collapsed some days ago and have been bedridden ever since. I feel as if I have failed Flora as a father. I can only hope that when I am gone, the people of the village look after Flora and care for her as I did. He must have been terribly ill. It seems I am not long for this world, and the time has come for me to say goodbye to my little Flora. I've left everything in Bruno's care now. Flora, I pray you find happiness in this life. I've disclosed the location of the secret place in a note that I've left with an old friend. It is my most fervent hope that the seeker of the golden apple finds it and grants my dearest wish. Professor! Baron Reinhold's only friend. Old friend. We must seek out this person, Luke. But Professor, how can we possibly find that person with nothing but this journal to go on? Haha. It's like I always say, Luke. Any good investigation starts on the street. We'll just have to ask everyone in town about the matter. What? I mean, of course. You're absolutely right, Professor. Let's get to it. Of course. Any good investigation also needs direction. Let's start out by asking Ingrid a few questions. She seems to know a great deal about Baron Reinhold. And then Ingrid was kidnapped. Watch it. Just watch it happen. Ah, hey everybody. None of you were here a second ago. Eligible bachelorettes. None of you were here a second ago. There she is. Creepy. Oh, look who it is. Professor Layton, was it? The name's Layton, man. Oh, that's right. Professor Layton. All that talking about the mansion we did last time got me reminiscing, so I decided to stop by for a visit. But enough about me. By the look on your face, it seems that you have something you want to ask me. As a matter of fact, I do. Do you happen to know who Baron Reinhold considered his close friends? His friends, you say? Well, he wasn't exactly what you'd call a social butterfly. I'm sorry. That's really all I knew of his friends. Oh, wait a moment. I do believe I saw that Zappone fellow pay a visit to the mansion a few times. Professor, could she be referring to that man we met? Ah, yes. That gentleman with the fancy little mustache. We should ask if he knows anything. I would wager he'd still hanging around the fork in the road just beyond the clock tower. Well then, we'll go find him then. Get back on the path.